Good evening, everyone. This is delicious Don Juan, the Texas treat, and you are listening to the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and I'm joined today by Tommy.
Got new glasses.
And we got Mike.
Sup? I'm sorry. The fusion didn't take. I gained all the way back. Sorry about that. Brandon, thank you again for stepping in on Tuesday. But
Excellent callback, my good sir. Excellent callback.
Thank you. Seriously, B Ninja. Always appreciate y'all being here as a part of the Geekcast family and the Texas Wrestling Indie family that we've met throughout our years.
So many years.
Going to shows. So yeah, always glad you're here, man. Thanks for it.
Appreciate it, Brandon, and of course, the problem with doing the show during the day is your kids show up.
Oh my God! It's the little one. I don't want to say her name out. It's the little one. It's the little one.
Okay, well, I have to do it later.
She's got a steel chair. Oh my God!
Yes, go.
What is she doing in the impact zone?
Get it later, okay? I promise. Go.
I thought she was in a contract with WWE.
I can't right now. I'm gonna show.
No, I need help.
Okay.
Nothing happened.
When your kids need help with Animal Crossing, but you just started a wrestling show. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well today on Saturday at noon.
My name is Malachi Black. We thought her contract was longer, but it's
JC didn't realize he only put it for 30 days.
He's got to speak with legal about this in the future.
Anyway, our Twitter account at
I'm so glad we're recording this.
I'm so glad this is live. It's hilarious. CC General WrestleCast. Well, Tommy's too busy laughing. It's right below there.
Out of the way, Tommy. Okay, there you
are. Today, we're going to be talking all about AEW Full Gear. With so much going on this week, we talked on Tuesday, our usual day, about the releases, the PWI Women's 150. We'll get Mike's thoughts on that later on, but I figured it'd be good to start talking about Full Gear, which has been much, much anticipated. Give me a quick second here, guys.
Look at this media mogul just multitasking, talking about AEW Full Gear, taking care of Animal Crossing.
Hey,
ladies and gentlemen.
There. Ready?
Best make it look easy is all I'm gonna say.
Right, JC is a Renaissance man, guys. Y'all don't even understand.
Okay, have fun.
He's also got bike pedals under the desk, just exercising while he does this.
For those wondering, Animal Crossing a few weeks ago came out with a DLC called the Happy Home Paradise. It's basically you design vacation homes for villagers, and my daughter's addicted to that. So she needs help always taking the picture at the end because you add it to the little portfolio. And Animal Crossing and Nintendo, great job with the update. It added so many new features. It's got my kids busy for hours. I appreciate it. And
that's got to be the greatest interruption we've ever had on this show.
Yeah,
like hands down. Like it hasn't been better than that.
It's a nice little throwback to when we were doing this in person, and Mike was playing Link's Awakening on my Switch while we were doing the show. Remember that?
Yeah,
because it got so bad. It got so bad that I remember me and Tez specifically brought our own game systems because we would just do that. It was subjects we didn't want to talk about. We just busted out our game system and just kept playing.
Yeah.
No, because I kept bringing Metroid Fusion because that's still my favorite Metroid game ever.
Well, this one might beat it.
Okay,
Having finished it, it's really good.
Oh, yeah, you did finish it.
I finished it. It's really good. I have it number 2 all time behind Super Metroid, but that's a discussion for another time. So, yeah. Anyway, Full Gear, AEW, here we go. So, this one, they have been building to this all year. It's the final pay-per-view of the year. AEW is going to do a great job, pandemic or otherwise, getting this all ready. Much anticipated. I know Mike is already planning to buy this pay-per-view. And looking forward to it. It really is. We're going to kind of go through...
Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah. Including the pre-show, there's a grand total of 10 matches on the card. We're going to go through, make some predictions. If you're following us here live, feel free to make your predictions right along with us. If you're catching us later before the show tonight or even afterward, just make a comment. Let us know what your predictions are, what you think as well. We'll start with the buy-in, which is about 30 minutes before the pay-per-view goes live. There's one tag match. Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter against Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. I know I'm going Shida and Rosa, two of the top names in the PWI 150 that we talked about. That, honestly, for me, is almost like a dream tag team of sorts for these two. So that's where I'm going with this. Mike, what about you? Mike, can you hear me?
I'm actually going to go the other way. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Am I there?
You're there, yeah.
Okay.
There.
I'm actually going to go with Nyla and Jamie because it's a pre-show tag match. These four are meeting each other in the next round of the TBS title tournament, and I think the faces are going to win those actual matches. So I feel this is the match where the heels get the win, surely by cheating. But then when you get to the actual tournament, Shida and Rosa get their wins back in the bigger picture of it.
All right. And Tommy?
I don't want to pick against Rosa and Shida. I refuse. So Rosa and Shida, even though everything Mike said made sense, I refuse.
Fair enough.
All right, and on to the main card here. Already another tag match. There's, a few tag matches here that have some pretty intriguing storylines to them. This one, no different. Pac and Cody Rhodes against Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. Mm-hmm. Why do I get the feeling that there's going to be some sort of double turn, if you will, on this one? They've been teasing Cody going full-blooded heel for a while now. I mean, it's possible.
I think it would be ironic if Cody goes heel and Pac comes out of this the absolute ultimate babyface. That would be hilarious.
That said, where are you going with this one, Tommy?
I'm going actually. Yeah, I'm gonna go Black and Andrade. I really feel like if it does happen, it'll be here and either Pac comes out of either Pac comes out as looking like the ultimate babyface, which will still be hilarious and ironic in hindsight, or he'll just be the bastard again. Which either way we win. So I don't really see a downside to either scenario happening. So it's he becomes a super good guy, great. Becomes a super bad guy, also awesome. I don't see a problem here. So,
all right, Mike.
When we get to the main event later, we'll talk about how that's been so long booked. I think Cody turning is still going to be booked even longer and let it simmer. So I'm going to go Malachi Black and Andrade with the little added caveat that I think Cody is going to cost his team somehow, but he's still going to just be convinced that he's the face and the baby face. I don't think he's going to go the full turn. I think it's just going to be a continuation of those little moments where he's being heelish, but he doesn't admit that he's a heel. He just continues to believe in his own hype or machinations that he's the ultimate babyface. And I think if they don't do this, they've missed the greatest story ever because it's right there in front of them.
Yeah,
and they have to. He's been laying it out for so long.
What point do you think that if they don't do it tonight, that they're going to full on make the turn? At what point do you step up into it?
I feel like it has to turn against, or it makes most sense to have him turn against a big baby face like a Cassidy or even a Jungle Boy or just someone where it really cements him fully as the heel, really puts over the other person. I don't know. Maybe their big show next year in 22.
Double or Nothing.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But I just don't think it's quite yet. And I feel like when it does happen, it's going to be in a bigger a bigger storyline, kind of one that's kind of more toward the main event.
Okay. Darby Allin versus MJF. I'm wearing the shirt, so you guys kind of have a pretty good idea where I'm going with this one. But this is an interesting one, at least in my opinion. I feel like the winner of this match, because these both have been two big prominent stars, is potentially who they're priming to make a world title run or a run at the title next year. That's just kind of how I feel it. If it's either going to be Darby or they're really going to finally pull the trigger and get MJF a little more solid into the world title picture, especially if the championship goes how we think it's going to go. But I'm going with Darby Allin. Maybe it's a bit of a homer pick, but I love the guy. I'm a big fan of his since I saw him wrestle since he debuted with AEW, and this would be huge for him. So, Tommy, what about you?
I'm going Darby only because I feel like this will be the start of MJF start to unravel. We've seen it kind of with Wardlow, how he's kind of I don't see the Pinnacle breaking up, but I see Wardlow leaving before all said and done. And I can't imagine him not being able to hire another gigantic human being to be his bodyguard. I really can't see where that's not a thing. But I do see him losing this. Actually, once you said that, that made a lot of sense. Actually, the second you said that, a ton of sense just came to my head. So anyway, but again, MJF losing, who cares? The guy's untouchable. A loss won't hurt him, and especially the loss of Darby Allin. So, that's almost a feather to cap in its own way. And I think
Such a real life jerk.
I feel like Darby Allin winning, if he doesn't get a world title shot, he'll go back after the TNT title, because I remember he said before how much he wanted that belt, and I could just see him and Sammy Guevara just absolutely tearing it up over that belt. So yeah.
All right, Mike.
I'm actually gonna finish it off with y'all and go Darby Allin as well.
Nice.
Very similar reasons. MJF is always gonna be that cemented heel. I don't even think he really needs to keep always necessarily winning. I think, like you said, it's time for one of those. They keep mentioning their four pillars. They're pushing Jungle Boy through the Elite storyline. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But I think this is also Darby's time, like you said, to kind of really step up. And sometime next year, whoever's a champion, like you said, I know we have our thoughts on that, but to get in a title picture. So yeah, I'm with y'all there.
All right, another singles match that, for a single match, has so much hype to it. The promos have been interesting. I think we kind of highlighted this. If these two guys ever wrestled together, some of the back and forth would be amazing. CM Punk against Eddie Kingston. I personally don't see Punk losing, at least not anytime soon. It's still really fresh in our minds, him there. But this one's going to be brutal. Now, as of right now, it's just a singles match. There's no sort of hardcore stipulation, sort of weapons thing. But I have a feeling it might get a little bloody. But I'm going with Punk on this. Mike, what about you?
I'm going with Punk too, and I'm gonna kind of call my shot here. I think they're gonna pull Austin Brett WrestleMania 13,
Ooh.
and I think Punk is going to maybe the Anaconda Vice. It's his most used submission move. Eddie's going to be bloody. He's not going to give up. He's going to flick him off. Punk's not going to let go. That crowd, even on their last promo, as much as this crowd has loved Punk and just given him the most ridiculous pops, Eddie not turned them, but Eddie got his name chanted in the middle of the Punk interview so quickly with his passion and with his words. And especially after that Players Tribune thing just came out, I think it would be such an opportune time, even in a loss, to really propel him higher and just kind of make him that star like that. And Punk is such a natural heel, right? I know he's kind of doing the going to every city. I love you guys. I'm glad to be back, but I think it would be so easy for him to fall back into it. And you saw a little bit of his kind of jerk side in these couple of promos they did just in the last week or two. So yeah. I'm going to call my shot on that. Definitely going with Punk, but I think they're going to do a double turn.
Okay. Tommy.
I can't not do it. I gotta pick Kingston because I just feel like he could get the win over. Now, in a slight contrast, I won't say I completely disagree with Mike on it because I really don't. I think he's got a point, but I more see it kind of as like a mutual respect type thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Punk will go heel eventually because, like you said, he's great at it. But I kind of see it as kind of like as a both of them like respecting each other by the end of it type deal. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the Moxley Kingston feud ended in a lot of ways. It's like, at the end of it they kind of into mutual understanding. Yeah. But I feel like this is kind of like what they're doing with this, like the opportunity for them to get a lot off their chests. It's like they like built up aggression and things like that. So I'm gonna go with Kingston to win, but I don't know if Punk will turn heel yet.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful to Mox with what just happened, but I was going to say Kingston and Punk aren't going to go drinking afterwards either, though. So
this is true. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Punk will watch Eddie drink and okay, that's enough, buddy.
It's have a Pepsi with him or something. Who knows?
Right? Yeah, he's fine, guys. Don't worry. Quada was the best of all time. Yes, Eddie. Quada was the best of all time.
All right, Falls Count Anywhere, Christian Cage and Jurassic Express against the Super Click, which is Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. Wow.
I am so looking forward to this. Oh my God. The hype is real for me.
Hey guys, is there any dispute about who you think might win this? Huh? Dispute? They did that a lot on Wednesday.
First of all, yeah, they did. Because Taz was having a blast with it. And I just want to think Tony Khan was in the back. God damn it, Taz.
I was just like, okay, we get it, guys. Okay,
see,
we get
but
it.
I words though,
See, my thing is, I didn't think Taz was intentionally running it into the ground so it wouldn't be funny anymore because he kept doing it. It's disputed.
You know what?
Get it, guys? It's disputed. They're like, Jesus, Taz, we heard it the first time.
Maybe you're right. Maybe they're all kind of getting tired of, because that's been the Bucks thing since forever. Like before AEW, that's always been the Bucks. So maybe the rest of them are like, look, we get it, guys. Okay, yeah.
I think they're intentionally running the joke into the ground just so it'll be like I have never ever underestimated Taz's ability to be stupidly hilarious. It's like he's a jerk on purpose.
I just want to hear them use the word a few times and then someone else just be like, We had to get the other part of the word. It's not disputed. It's not we had to get both parts of the words in there. Sorry, guys.
That could be hilarious if they ever worked that in there, right? Two people saying.
Oh my God, I'd love it.
Tommy, where do you think this match is going?
I kind of want to see like Cage and the Jurassic Express win, and I think they might because since Marco Stunt has been curiously absent, I don't know if he's been injured or sick or whatever. I have a feeling they'll try to get Bobby Fish involved again, and again, I have no problem with that because I like Bobby Fish. I feel like Cage and Jurassic Express might pull out a win here only because it's like I feel like this is one of the cases where they push the good guys too far. Fill up with the concerto on Adam Cole. I feel it's one of those cases where it's like, they're the good guys, smiling baby faces, but Christian was the guy who helped invent the concerto. He has been in this kind of match his entire career, and with Jungle Boy and Jurassic Express, they're just sick and tired of being beat up all the time. So yeah. And and they won't have Kenny Omega backing them up, so
Mm-hmm. I'm going with Super Click on this one. I just weird way to get the crowd hating him, right? You mentioned the Marco Stunt thing. He looked pretty good, at least at the little charity bowling event that they did. He's a horrible bowler, but he did, the video there. He was walking around okay. But I think Super Click right now, first time these guys are all teaming together in a match on a pay-per-view in a long time. And it's Falls Count Anywhere. So it's going to get pretty violent, but I think they're going to find a way to sneak out with a win. Mike, what about you?
I think I'm going to go with you on this one because I have a lot more faith in AEW when I start to think of long-term booking plans of things. And I think, especially because it's a slightly different name when Adam Cole's with the Bucks, then when the whole group is together and they're the elite, I think they're going to start planting those seeds of Adam Cole turning on Kenny. And so I think Adam Cole and the Bucks being successful, and then maybe other things happening, will start planting little seeds of that turn. And then he can bring Bobby Fish in. Their friendship is not disputed. So I mean, but yeah, I think the Super Click wins here, probably pinning Christian. Because Christian's just being the good veteran nowadays, hyping up the young guys.
It really is, dude.
Taking
Points to him, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's going to be a hell of a match, but I kind of agree. I think the Super Click. I think you're going to keep Adam Cole kind of on a win streak for a while, to really build him up too. So.
Well, to be fair, Adam, Kenny did fire Adam from the Bullet Club, and they all did kill Adam. I mean, I can't believe we keep forgetting that part. But they murdered Adam Cole, and no one's talking about it.
Not to go off on this tangent, but one day we need to talk about: is the Bullet Club like the Sith? Do you have to always come in and take out the other one to keep? Because that's kind of how the leadership is gone, if you look at it, right?
No more than two. Always one master, one apprentice. Yeah.
Well, you bring in the apprentice to take over from the old one. There's a line of succession there.
Yeah.
This man said the Bullet Club is like the Sith, and now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, think about it. Think about it.
That's all you're going to be thinking about the next time you watch Star Wars. I'm telling you. So.
Yeah, you don't remember Darth Sidious just being like.
I was just gonna say Darth Sidious and what Phantom Menace. You've done well, my young apprentice.
Wow.
For life.
Too sweet me, Darth Maul, right?
Well, at least we all really want.
At least it was Too Sweet Me and not the other thing Kenny told Don. So we'll move on.
Yeah. Hey, but don't you remember in Phantom Menace when the doors opened and Darth Maul was standing there? Did you hear Bullet Club for life?
And then in the new trilogy, they had to go low because the Empire sued the First Order for having.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren.
They had to go low because they sued. Yeah. Oh my God, this is too much fun. All right, let's go. Come on.
All right, Minneapolis Street Fights. The Inner Circle, 5-on-5, by the way. The Inner Circle against Men of the Year and American Top Team. First of all, the other time, it's gone viral more, but when Paige Van Zandt and Jericho were going back and forth on the mic, and she made that comment, I can handle all 5 of you guys at once, whatever, by myself. And the crowd just anticipating it. And Tina happened to be walking by the room when I was watching that. She's like, oh, please say it. Please say something. Please say something, right? So you're just waiting for Jericho. I love that he's incorporating the jokes kind of write themselves, don't they? You want fans? You know?
I mean, whoever was in charge set that up. And whatever you feel about it, I mean, I'm glad she was cool enough to play along with it. But, it was so obvious he was setting up those because it was that one and my calendar's wide open. And Jericho's just this reminds me of Stephanie and me back.
So some jokes are so obvious that you have to make them. I think is what the deal is. It was they were like, this joke is stupid. Let's make it anyway. Okay.
Now, Mike, I know you've had a huge disdain for American Top Team. Is that carrying over here? Are you picking the Inner Circle? Where are you going with this one?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, but let me go back to something else first. Mm-hmm. There's an old Saturday Night Live skit where they're doing a commercial for the show Blossom. And you remember how big Joy Lawrence was, and the whole joke at the end is that the girl who now is super smart on Jeopardy and plays Blossom at the time was like, and don't forget the name of the show is still Blossom because it was everyone cared about Joey.
Right.
Does anyone remember that the Men of the Year are part of this? I only hear is the Inner Circle versus the America's Top Team, and they're the actual AEW wrestlers that got it started. So I kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah.
In the bigger picture of this, I'm going to go with the Inner Circle because honestly, every time that dude comes on TV, I change the channel because the whole boomer, this generation sucks thing. It's maybe once I can deal with it, but literally every time it's and people are like, oh, he's making fun of Cornette. Well, I don't listen to Cornette either, so that's the whole point.
We're better in our lives for not listening to that guy. Anyway, this is interesting. I know a lot of times when you have a guest in the ring, use a tag match, but it's usually just one person, like a rookie. Bad Bunny, prime example.
Celebrity, yeah.
Stephen Amell, those sort of things. Now you essentially have 3.
Mm-hmm.
Junior Dos Santos, Andre Arlovsky, Dan Lambert, all MMA veterans. I don't know how much wrestling experience they have, how much work they've been getting in on this, but this is going to be a difficult one to manage. But I think what's helping is that it is a street fight.
Yeah.
But don't hit Dos Santos or Arlovsky wrong, or they'll knock you out. Legit. So, but the street fight, how they incorporate the weapons, how they can safely take bumps, we'll see. But I'm going with the Inner Circle here. They always seem to do well in these big team battles. And I think this will be a good one for them to win. Promos have been great, though. You know, the back and forth between these teams. And I'm sure this isn't over between them. But, yeah. Let's see. Tommy, where are you going with this one?
Inner Circle.
Okay.
I get what Mike's saying about Men of the Year, but I also feel like they got a bit of press because the match that Ethan Page got with Sammy Guevara was really, really good.
It was.
I like the homage they had to Eddie and Mysterio with the crucifix bomb into a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
Which I didn't connect until recently because someone pointed it out. I was like, damn, that is what that was. I can't believe I didn't notice that before.
You know, AEW has been doing a lot of things like that in the past couple of weeks where you know someone brings it up and the rest was like, yeah, like that was totally like the Eddie Punk thing we talked about earlier was an homage to Cena Punk. When he was like, "You've become the Yankees," basically.
Yeah.
That whole promo. So I like that they're doing that. That is one thing I appreciate about AEW is they are wrestling fans, like the people involved. And as someone who has watched it so long, those are really cool that they do those kind of things. So
it's that, and they deal with people who make sense. Like Ethan Page going for a Razor's Edge and Sammy Guevara countering to Hurricane Rana makes total sense because that's what both of them do.
Yeah.
Eddie and Punk having a Cena Punk promo where they kind of like reverse the roles on each other makes sense because those two are good enough talkers where that would absolutely work for those two because they can make or break an entire crowd whenever they feel like, depending on what they say. So yeah, that's another thing is they only make good homages; they get the right people to do it.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. Yeah, you're definitely right about that.
Mike, you made your pick on this one already, right?
No? Yeah, Inner Circle.
Inner Circle. Okay. All right.
I think we're unanimous on this one.
Yep. Championship Eliminator Tournament Final.
Oof.
Bryan Danielson versus Miro, and I wonder if Miro hadn't replaced Moxley. Because Moxley,
you know that's what it was going to be.
Danielson versus Moxley, and my God, that would have been crazy. But this one, hell of a replacement, would be a hell of a battle.
I feel like this one is just as unpredictable as insane as Danielson Moxley would have been. Honestly,
yes, that would have been
really.
A hard call.
I really do think that they picked the right guy to be in his place. You know, Moxley, God bless him. I really hope he's getting well, get on the healthy knees. You know, because I mean he left for the right reason, and like no one here is gonna say anything because the guy deserves it. Let him get his rest. But I feel like if you're gonna pick anyone to replace someone who's just as unpredictable right now, it's Miro, because ever since losing the TNT title, he's been in that weird mental place of, my God has abandoned me. And it's like my favorite series of promos because it's like, dude, okay, God did abandon you, dude. You're still married to Lana, so yeah, no, you're still married to Lana. You still get a nice check, bro. I think compared to like 98% of the people on this planet, you kind of won at life, bro. You're good.
Yeah. People were commenting when he replaced Mox and went into that match with Orange Cassidy. Like as he comes out for his entrance, he looks up at the sky. Like, you know, like, am I going to do this, God? Are we ready? I was just like, I really love what his character has turned into with this.
I feel like a lot of guys we've been saying, he's having so much more fun.
Oh yeah,
he's like he's enjoying the hell out of himself right now. Even with this whole heel persona, you can just tell, no matter how angry he is having the time of his life.
Right.
He's loving the interaction. He's loving the appreciation, I'm sure. So
yeah, for sure.
Mike, where do you see this match heading?
This is honestly a real. It's honestly a real coin.
To be honest with you, I mean, yeah,
it really is because I feel like I can legitimately give reasons to go either way. No matter what happened to the championship match, both of these guys winning and going to face either of those guys is legit another big money match. So I'm going to go only because right now I feel like I don't want to bet against him until the right match, and that's Bryan Danielson. So I'm going to stick with Bryan Danielson. I hope. I'm not even going to be shocked or mad if Miro wins, honestly. But I think I'm going to pick Danielson for now.
I'm going with Miro.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of the
okay.
reason because
Okay.
where I think the championship match is going to go, this would be a good first opponent for who I think is going to win out of the gate.
Okay.
Now, if I thought the championship match was going the other way, I'd probably pick the match again, but this would do wonders for Miro to show him as a legitimate title contender, not just winning a tournament. Is it going to be clean? No idea. That's the big question, right? And
oh my God, if Lana showed up and interfered, I would totally be happy with that.
That's a possibility.
That'd be amazing.
The 90 days is over. It's for her.
Wait, but hey, if that happens, I hope someone says, "Wait a minute, you used to be Russian. What happened to your accent?"
Yeah, right.
They give her the Kofi Kingston treatment,
Right?
It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was never Russian. My name was never Lana. I was never represented the Russian people.
Bryan Danielson is such a big star right now. He can take this loss, put Miro over, and he's still fine.
Bryan Danielson is and always has been untouchable.
Yeah.
This was the shticky. Oh, I'm sorry.
I disagree. Look at his chest after every match. He's got touchdowns. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Tommy, where are you going with this one?
Damn it, Mike. that was too funny. I'm gonna go with Danielson. I really am, because even if the world title goes the way I think it's going to go, I still feel like that'll be like a battle of just for the best.
Yeah.
Now, and also, even if the world title, even when they meet and the world title match goes where it's going to go, I'm not guaranteeing that match will end cleanly. Not saying either guy will cheat, but someone might interfere because they're unhappy that they're not in it. Yeah. I'm going Danielson. But that being said, I think this will probably be the most fun Miro match we've ever seen, period. Not just in AEW, but just like he's ever had. Because I think it's two guys who finally have the shackles off. I'm sure Tony Khan said in the back, "You do whatever you want. I'll take care of how much time goes off."
Hey, real quick before we move on, you know how we've said that Darby Allin's just a adrenaline junkie, has no regard for his body. Bryan Danielson's the clean cut version of that. I'm pretty sure he's a little bit of a sadist. He just
he agreed to a Minoru Suzuki match. He absolutely is a sadist.
To be fair, this is how he used to wrestle.
No, you're right. I know a lot of people don't know as much of that from before his WWE time, but he likes getting beat up and giving it right back. I know we all think of him as a nice little, hippie save the earth guy, but he's got a little streak in there, man.
Yeah, he's all that, and he's also a little bit violent.
So. If you guys can find, if I find it, I'll see if I can share it with you guys. I think it was his. If I'm thinking of the same one, the steel cage match he had with Samoa Joe while he was world champion, and the amount of punishment he took in that match was just brutal. And I loved it, but it's like what you said. It's like we say Darby Allin lives for that, but yeah, Danielson is not that much different. It's just the only difference is he's quieter about it.
Yeah, it's always the quiet ones.
Yeah, it's always the quiet ones.
All right, on to the championship matches. The AEW Tag Team Championship, the Lucha Brothers defending against FTR. I'm going Lucha Brothers. It's too soon to me for them to just drop it. I mean, they literally won it very recently too. I think they need a good run with this, but this is going to be interesting. A mix of styles here on this match itself. But I think I got Lucha Brothers taking the win. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, same. It's almost like they're kind of doing a version of the Christian Omega thing they did just a few months ago, where the FTR took the other title from the other place. But in the rematch, the Lucha Brothers are going to hold on to the tag titles. And I agree. They had just finally won those at the last pay-per-view, and they're such a great team. They put on such amazing matches. Kind God dang, can we just say AEW's tag division
Amazing.
is just stellar?
Dude.
Oh yeah.
And
It's ridiculous.
and
I'm
also
glad-
if they're making a team out of Dante Martin and Leo Rush, holy
Oh, did you
crap.
see that? Yeah, they're pretty
Yes,
impressive.
dude.
Like-
I caught the replay and I was like, oh my god.
I feel bad for Dante, the original guy that he was his brother in Top
His
Flight.
brother, Darius.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if they come back to make a little trio of it, I don't know how long he's out for still, but yeah, that's
Yeah, I don't know how bad his injury was, but yeah. But also, Lee Moriarty needs to be on TV more often. I need
Sure.
that guy on my TV screen a lot more than this. So,
Tommy, where are you going with this one?
I'm going Lucha Brothers, but I think it's interesting that the Lucha Brothers have to face the greatest lucha tag team of all time in FTR. It's just,
super.
I
Not the Superamas.
find it a little unfair that they have to do this, and it's like just not a fair comparison here. But I'm kidding. But no, I love this. I think this is really the kind of thing that FTR really saw in AEW that got them over there. It's like the Young Bucks and everything, but after that, and I think they'll have another match somewhere down the line. But then it's like teams like the Lucha Brothers, the guys who they can completely mismatch styles with, because they weren't great. Fantastic with any team, but I love it when they go against teams that don't match their style. The Lucha Brothers are absolutely that, because to me, the Lucha Brothers are the same way. If it's someone who doesn't match their style, everyone adapts, and you got four of the best guys who adapt in these situations in wrestling. So I'm looking forward to this. It could be a show stealer, if you ask me. This could absolutely steal the show.
I'm gonna throw my old wrestling fan card out there. They are legit a modern day Midnight Express, which is, I know, something they've kind of talked about before. But like back in the 90s WCW, early 90s, when you had Steiners and Road Warriors and Doom and a bunch of different big tag teams, you had some smaller ones, and of course they're famous before that in NWA for their matches with Rock and Roll Express. But Midnights could go with anybody, and again, we kind of talked about we don't really care about Cornette anymore, but it's such a disappointment because he was such a big part of that. But yeah, FTR, like, they really, like, when they talked all their smack before they left WD, they've backed it up here. They really are just a great old school tag team that gets heat in the way old good tag teams used to do by cheating and breaking the rules. And
It's one of those lost arts that they perfected.
Yeah, really.
I was just gonna say, it's like, if you don't like FTR, that's because you don't like them because they said so. It's not because they're not a great team. You don't like them because they have done things on purpose to make you hate them. You don't like them because they can't wrestle. That's the absolute reason because if you say they can't wrestle, you're lying, and I refuse to hear that slander. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, Women's Championship, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, against Tay Conti. Tommy, how you going with this one?
I'm so torn, but I'm going to go Dr. Britt Baker. However, I also see this as another potential show stealer. Like, it's two women's wrestlers who have proven time and time again can go. Tay has again another person who is having the time of her life. You can see it every time she wrestles. She is, she's smiling all the time anyway. But it feels like she's having even more fun now that Anna Jay's back. Britt Baker. And again, can we name someone who had a harder run the past couple of years than her? I mean, aside from Deonna Purrazzo and Bayley, she's right there with them. Like, those three had the hottest runs these past couple of years. Wins or losses, it didn't matter. They were nuclear hot, and like just in the best way possible.
We kind of said it on Tuesday. It seems when people get released, sometimes they bet more on themselves and have some great runs, and which we anticipate for a lot of people that got released from WWE last week. So. And she's another prime example,
Keep in mind, Britt Baker was a person they weren't even interested in hiring once upon a time. And I'll admit, there was a time when Britt wasn't the best. But the reason I love her run so much is because she worked on it. You could tell that with every single promo she cut. She had been spending time getting it right. And my God, Tony Schiavone was the perfect person for her to work off of because they were hilarious together. And I love the fact that Adam Cole's there and tells him to stay away from his girl. So Which is just the best, like, creepiest old man message I could ever see in wrestling. But it's so great. I love this. I think Britt's gonna win. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No. It's just funny you mentioned that because just real quick, because I saw this like a week or two ago on Cultaholic. They were making the joke when Britt Baker was facing Anna Jay, and they made some comment about her boyfriend, Jungle Boy, and so they were like, they thought it would be so hilarious if Britt Baker came out and was like, I want to wrestle, you and your boyfriend against me and mine, and then like Tony Schiavone stands up and starts walking toward the ring. And then Adam Cole's like, whoa, like just like that stuff is
like sorry, and then I would love it to break on the mic. Sorry, Adam, there's something I've been meaning to tell you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Britt totally loves Tony. She really does.
Yeah,
like
she's.
I mean, she messes with him, but like when they started the whole thing. But
Yeah.
I think she would totally be like, no, it's cool. He's on her side.
Okay, so here's one time when breaking kayfabe to me was absolutely okay. When she beat Hikaru
Oh,
in the first
yeah.
place, and Tony Schiavone got up and hugged her. I know that's breaking kayfabe. I know people are like, "Oh, she's supposed to be held." Like, I know that, but I don't care because it was clear Tony Schiavone was taking care of her that whole time, working on her with promos. That's why, because he's one of the best interview guys, period, in wrestling. She was working with him on promos, this, that. So when he got up and hugged her, I love that moment. I don't care about kayfabe in that moment. Break it all you want to, because that was one of the sweetest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I love
100% with you, man.
Yeah, it was so great.
I'm going with Dr. Baker as well. Mike, I assume the same for you.
Yeah, and just kind of on to what we said at the beginning, I think we're going to look back at this run as, not to be, hyperbolic, but like when Austin finally found Stone Cold, when when Triple H finally found, the game, the kind of, like when those guys who have always been kind of good or whatever, they just find that right character and it takes off. This is what she's done with this.
When Rocky Maivia became The Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because I feel like when Britt goes face, and she is at some point, she's too likable not to. She's not going to change a thing about her gimmick and still get cheered out of every building she goes in.
I felt so bad a couple months ago when Red Velvet got the title shot.
Yeah,
she's supposed to be the face. They put it on in Pittsburgh. I was like, "What are you doing to her?" Like there's no way they're gonna.
To be fair, Pittsburgh people are so loyal to their hometown heroes.
Yes.
I remember that if you ever watched the
Kurt Angle,
Kurt Angle and Shane Douglas when he wrestled Bigelow for the ECW World Title. Man, he was a heel all day long, and when he won, that place erupted, and it's like, what the? He's the bad guy. And like Pittsburgh, we don't care.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, man.
You right there, buddy?
I'm good. Yeah. Sorry, I just thought I heard the kids in the background, but.
Okay.
All right, AEW Championship, the most anticipated match all year. The build
up for this.
Yeah.
It may be a masterclass in storytelling in pro wrestling, and I don't say that lightly, but this might have been one of the greatest build-ups to a match I've ever seen. And before we go into our picks, I just want to say, like, I love how the matches going into it were legitimately world title threats, like Christian Cage. I love the Pod Cassidy match that they had at Double or Nothing. That was I love it. Everyone was like, "Oh, that match." I was like, "No, that match was fantastic," because I was like, you couldn't find three more different dudes. I feel like despite every tough title defense, it was all leading up to this.
Even the crossover with Impact, where he was holding two titles, and you didn't know what was going to happen. All that was just amazing. Kenny Omega defending his championship against Adam Hangman Page. Page is finally getting his shot.
Time for some cowboy shit, isn't it? I love JR. Screw everyone else says.
I'm going with Page. This is prime time happening. This is what we've been kind of looking forward to ever since AEW started. He was fighting for the first championship match against Jericho and lost, but this is what they've been building towards, and it's high time it happens. Mike, you agree, or you think they swerve us?
No, I don't. AEW, you've got like a 90% positivity rate with things. Like, you pretty much have done so many things great. There have been small hiccups here and there, and you've adjusted. You haven't, been stubborn and just you realized it, you admitted it. It's simple. I don't care if everyone sees it coming. Everyone wants it. Don't be WWE and outthink yourself. Make it a great match. Give me some false finishes. Don't get me wrong. Give me those moments where I think Omega is going to get the pin, and Cole kicks out at. Paige kicks out at wrong Adam. That's a few months down the road. No, kicks out at 2.999. And Aubrey's hand is just barely millimeters. Give me those moments, but it has to be Paige going over. The Elite comes out, but either the Dark Order or Jurassic Express, or hell, the rest of the locker room.
I feel like Dark Order and Jurassic Express would just jump the Elite immediately.
And just give us the moment we've been waiting for. This is our biggest complaint with WWE has been their booking is so all over the place. They don't plan anything. You have planned this. You have set it up. The crowd, the people are hungry for Paige to take this. Omega has been a masterclass of a heel of the cocky, but also the kind of slimy at times.
Him and Don Callis are been the perfect combination of evil.
Yeah.
It's time, bro. There's not just. I mean, you're 2 feet from the goal line. Just walk past it. You're right there.
I feel like AEW should do with this the way they did with CM Punk in Chicago. Everyone knew. They didn't know, but they knew he was there. So who cares? Pull the trigger. Let it. You guys are trying to CM Punk. Well, guess what? He's here. So who cares? And I feel like it was the same with Britt Baker with Sheeta. When Sheeta was champion for over a year, had that phenomenal title run, again, keeping the company afloat, and everyone knew Britt was going to win. Everyone knew. But there was nothing wrong with knowing that because A, it was a great match, B, Sheeta more than proved herself as a worthy champion and carrying the company, and C, it was just Britt's time. Everyone has their time in the sun as champion. Sometimes it comes back around. Sheeta had nothing else to prove at that point, and it was fine for Britt Baker to win.
It was still hard to pick against Sheeta, though, because she'd won.
She had proven for a whole year she didn't give a shit who you were.
Tommy, you're going with Paige then, I assume?
I'm going with Paige, man. Yeah. That 1-2-3 is going to be insane when it finally counts it. Yeah. And also, I feel like I'm having flashbacks to the G1 last year. And when Sonata was this close to winning, and they counted it at the referee's hand, it was 2.997 seconds. It was like his finger was his hand was that far from the mat. Ibushi kicked out. I was watching that. I woke up my whole house screaming no because I wanted Sonata to win. Okay, so I'm not over that. It's a whole year, and I'm still not over that.
I was just gonna say, if you got blood pressure medicine, take an extra dose tonight.
I think I need to, dude. I am so not over that. I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, that was 3. I saw his hand hit the mat for 3.
Well, that is our preview of AEW Full Gear. I'll have all the details on how you can watch it tonight. Crazy. So we're talking about a show before it happens that morning of, right? Now, Mike, of course, weren't able to join us on Tuesday. That teacher life is hard. I know. My wife is going through it too. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, yes.
One more week before you get a little Turkey Day break. Yeah. But we talked on Tuesday, and thank you again, Brandon B. Ninja, for joining us about the WWE releases, about the PWI Women's 150. And I know you wanted to share some of your thoughts on that, so floor is yours, man. Take it away.
Yeah, so just a few things real quick. Again, the majority of those names, it just makes no sense. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, Ember Moon, who else was on that? Just all of them that could have been used, should have been used better. How you mess up Keith Lee with the moments you gave him in the NXT versus Raw and SmackDown Survivor Series, and then the Rumble against Brock. I don't. And again, this is what frustrates me with WWE. They're so dang determined that they have to make the character in this one specific way that Vince wants. You took these two guys, changed everything that people loved about them, and then said, "Why can't you get over? You're just not ready for this business." How was Karrion Kross gonna get over looking like he was going to an S&M Halloween party? Like, for crying out
his
loud.
wife next to him, without his
Yeah,
fiance. Excuse me. You know?
Yeah, I know you got a big thing for Scarlett. I get it. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just saying that gimmick
No,
would
I
make
know.
more sense if she was there.
It was like it. He was NXT champion. You sent him to the main roster with everything that made him a big deal in NXT, and you took it away from him.
Yeah.
And so I mean, Keith Lee, Jesus Christ, man, why'd you have to? Like, you changed his music. You made him wear some little like skirt thing to the ring. You made him put on a kind of a tank top, almost like a
tank top singlet. Type
yeah,
thing.
like just let them be. Like you know, and it's kind of leaking onto the NXT 2.0 stuff where their viewership has gone way down, with all these new kind of characters and stuff. And it's like you've got talent. You know, Ember Moon. I know she had some injuries and stuff, or Mia Yim. You know, you didn't even you put her in Disruption for a little bit. I remember I heard y'all last week. I'm going to call it Disruption till the day I die.
Me too.
I can never remember the name. I know we said it last week and I forgot again. That's how much we say this.
In all fairness, if I would have said her name, you would have believed that was the group's name too, because they were real similar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Reckoning would have been close, but
Retribution.
yeah, I expect to see all of them in some AEW, Impact, New Japan. You know, all when their contracts are up. They're so talented. I don't know if they can do a Women's Royal Rumble this year without either using NXT 2.0 or calling it. You know, they're going to call Eva Marie back in as a legend.
Oh my god.
Look. In all fairness, I know y'all made the comment like y'all were okay with that, and they should have never signed her. But I also don't want to cheer someone losing their job. Like, that's not her fault. She got offered a contract, and you know, and I mean, and also though, I think y'all are real naive if you think they're going to switch Doudrop back to anything else. But
they're not.
you know, it's WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's ridiculous. And I did want to say one other thing, because I know earlier in the show when we were joking about y'all were joking about the Women's Rumble that they were going to call Gail Kim, and you said she would never do that. I legitimately think, because I don't think Gail Kim has a racist bone in her body, but I think if Vince called her about the Rumble, she would just drop the N-word and say please. Like, I think that would legitimately be her response. N-word, please.
Please, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure every black person would be totally okay and feel like she's totally justified in saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hold on 1 second. Black Caucus? No, Gail Kim. Okay, I've checked with the Black Caucus, and we have authorized, if Vince McMahon calls her, we have authorized her that she may use our word and say please. Good? We're good? Black Asians, Black Latinos, we're all good? Caucus has confirmed.
All right.
all right.
It's part of that decision because she's Canadian, so that kind of works into where it's okay for her to say that.
But Canada didn't really do that much to Black
So she already would have. She already would have put at the end of the word, anyways.
Eh? Well, I say never say never, one, because A, she's employed by Impact, and two, after that last stint with WWE, she's never going back. You know.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That tickled me so much when Mike said that.
I just, I that is what it is. But yeah, you make a lot of good points on the releases. You told me before the show. I don't know if you want to share it, but you did cancel a certain something.
I canceled Peacock.
Yeah.
It's not totally. I mean, I love The Office, you know, and what I told JC is actually what actually kind of bugs me more is it doesn't affect WWE more directly. Like, remember back when it was still the network and everyone was like, cancel it? I kind of wish I could have done it then.
Yeah.
Because that was directly to them. Now, and I guess this is just what frustrates me. They're making money hand over fist. They only care about a couple of big name matches to get everyone's attention, and the rest of it is just crap. And it just gets frustrating, especially when we just spent, I don't know how long we've been doing this, an hour almost, totally hyped about this card for AEW.
about essentially every match on the card.
Yes.
It's like every match on this card. It could, you know what the funny part is? If it wasn't for how much they built up Page and Omega, I could see any match on this card ending the pay-per-view. I mean that.
The rest of these matches easily main event a Dynamite or a Rampage any week.
Hell yeah!
I mean, so and I feel bad for the people still employed in WWE. Like I'm not going to get mad at them. Make your money, get what So some of them are legit stars and probably having a good time. It hurts my soul that Cesaro just seems like such a good employee that he'll never feel like, maybe I should do more. Like he's just always like, well, I got to do better because. But anyways,
because every time it seems he wants to try and do more, they just shut it down. I mean,
because he makes everything work.
Yeah, but maybe he's just one to not share it publicly. He never seems to be disgruntled with it.
No.
He's just always like, well, I'll work harder and I'll keep doing what I do. And I'm just like, get mad, be a little unreasonable, man. Come on. Throw a coffee cup down on the floor in the back or something.
Yeah, I think with all these releases, though, I think anybody that is still employed should be like, okay, I really need to be saving my money because you just don't know when
you really don't
fall. Yeah.
Oh, I did hear some interesting news that All Japan Pro Wrestling is starting to try to give more of their talent to the United States. So that could be another avenue for people who just got released because as much as I can see Keith in like New Japan, AEW, I absolutely could see him in All Japan against someone like Sawama, Kento Miyahara, Jake Lee, those kind of guys. I think he would kill it over there because that's where like a lot of gaijin like Stan Hansen, Vader went in the first place. That was like the original gaijin destination before New Japan really took off. I could see him easily doing that. I could see a lot of the talent going there, and Stardom still think Tokyo Joshi Pro are still, because a lot of Tokyo Joshi Pro are in AEW now. So, a lot of the women who got released could go there. I just feel like all of this loss from WWE, loss quote unquote, is a game for everybody else and for the wrestlers themselves. Yes, they will be making the same check they just made. That's amazingly obvious to all of us. We cannot stress that point enough. They don't. No one has, except for Tony Khan, has WWE pockets. They just don't. This is a fact. Everyone accepts it.
Yeah.
But in terms of making money through merchandising, if you can still work on the indies, if you can do your own video games or third party OnlyFans, whatever, what have you, you can still make that money back. It may not be exact, but you could still pretty comfortably.
Look what Cardona's doing. He's having the time of his life, reinventing himself, and
when Cardona got released, he was the person I was least worried about.
I know.
I'm not even remotely concerned about this man because he knew how to market himself while he was there. I was like, oh my god! I was like, oh no, they released Cardona. Whatever will he do except make all the money himself?
I mean, let's be honest. If worse came to worse, and he was ever in a dire situation, he could sell his collection and become a millionaire overnight.
Oh my god! Yes, he could.
I know he would never get rid of them, but he could probably become a millionaire just selling them.
If worse comes to worse, well, then again, he's also dating Chelsea, who just graced the magazine cover. Thank God for that. Anyway, so yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Thanks for your thoughts on all that. I know that's pretty contentious. Anything quickly you want to say about the PWI Women's 150? I
don't remember. I didn't have the rankings out in front of me, but I mean, it was pretty solid. I know y'all kind of talked about the NXT Women's Champ. No, she's not the champ anymore. But
Raquel Gonzalez.
Raquel Gonzalez, about her being 10. But again, I thought she had a good run. It did kind of turn into the, well, I guess it's not always New Japan Wrestling Countdown, but with Tommy and B Ninja on there, they knew all those names that I didn't.
Damn it! It was Stardom.
Stardom. There you go. They knew all those names that I didn't know, and I was like, yeah, I mean, if they believe it, I'm sure it's legit.
Oh my gosh.
But I will be interested to see next year's with some of the runs that are starting, some of the people we think are making a big, going to make a big splash this year. So, maybe. I mean, WWE released a bunch, and now they're out in the indie. Maybe we can get to 200 next year. Maybe we just keep increasing the list and how big it can get.
I don't see any reason why it can't be 200 next year. I really don't.
As long as there's still an influx of talent that they have they can pull from, and everyone deserving. So,
Even Marie could get on the list.
I will
No.
have you silence your tongue literally right now.
200, fine, 200.
You can be 201, and that's me. And that's me being nice.
All right, Mike. I know
You still look at her bikini pictures anyway.
That's not the same thing as wrestling.
All right.
I never said she was ugly. I said she can't wrestle. There's a difference.
That's true.
Mike, after all that, did you still have something you want to share for a woman?
I actually did, if you don't mind. I don't mean to bogart the show or anything. If Tommy wants to go first, or one of y'all.
I
either way.
actually didn't have one today. I really didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike,
Let me do one more quick thing there, because that's cool. Because, okay, so there is a match not on Full Gear in AEW that I'm looking forward to, but it kind of breaks my heart. And that is the tournament match between Statlander and Ruby Soho. Because they have become two of my favorite women's wrestlers over the past year or so. And you know, and of course, because they're in a tournament, they have to start kind of not being completely nice to each other. They've done little things, and it kind of breaks my heart. But going along with that, Ruby Soho is legit the most wholesome person I have ever seen or just heard about. I don't know if y'all saw the scene after, I think it was Dynamite or something last week, where she was in the ring with Tony Khan and Punk and I think Jericho. And like she gave Tony Khan a big hug or whatever, and then Punk and Jericho like imitated her and stuff. But also, for some reason, and I'm sure they've just been friends for a long time, she's always the first one to hold Eddie Kingston back when he's trying to go tear Punk's head off. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that. Like when he interrupted the interview, and then when they were backstage, she's like right there. Then to top it off, I don't know if you saw this video online. She ran into Liv Morgan at an airport.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like the nicest thing. You know how much the Riot Squad just got so close. You know, they talk about Sarah Logan being at AEW when Ruby showed up and surprised her with her baby. So I just love that. And like, again, I know we talked about that when they released her. I have not ever heard even the slightest disparaging or mean thing toward her. So whoever comes out of Statlander Soho, going back to that, I hope they shake hands. I hope they don't actually start any kind of hating feud, because they're just the two. And Statlander's so dang cool, man.
Yeah.
That was hilarious for another. I don't know if you saw this video, this picture after that whole. It was a political thing about Jewish space lasers. Her and Cole Cabana took a picture together, and they said we should call our tag to Jewish space lasers. And I died laughing. It was so funny.
I have not, but I need to find that picture now.
See, piggyback off what Mike said, I don't know if you remember hearing like just some of the depression in the locker room when they heard Ruby got released. Mm-hmm. It was like people were just like sad. They were like she was just like backstage, just like the nicest person. It was like, well, okay, damn. You know, so it's like that. Like apparently she's just like that all the time. It's like people said, "Oh, Ruby got released." Well, crap. What are we supposed to do?
you know, we talked about it when we kind of talked about the Charlotte Flair thing a couple weeks ago, and you know, to kind of reiterate the point, right now Bayley's not in that locker room on a regular basis. Soho's gone. Those two, just from people's Twitters and Instagram, seem to be two of the biggest. Just like bring everyone together type people. I think Natty is probably in a very similar vein, having been there so long. I think she's also kind of one that tries to, you know, be with all of them and stuff. But like, yeah, I think that that affects a lot of them. Like Ruby Soho just like seemed like the most wholesome person. You know, Bayley, despite her great character work the last year, just seemed like everyone loved her in the back, and she was such a leader. It seems to be affecting them, you know. And then you released half of their friends again, you know, this past week. So
I think my personal take on that is like when you that kind of damages the morale of a locker room.
Yeah.
And here's something interesting I read real quick. Sorry, JC.
No.
I read something that Tony Khan, or no, Bryan Danielson said. He's talking about contracts in AEW. He said, look. It's like he's like, barring some real unforeseen circumstance, do something extreme, you're not going to see that in AEW. When a guy has a contract, they have a contract. When it's over, when they renegotiate, they want to do longer, great. If they want out, happy trails, but you're not going to see that in AEW. And some fans are trying to be like, well, that doesn't make no. It makes total sense because you signed them to a contract for a determined amount of time. And if things don't work out, I get that. Sometimes things don't work out. If someone wants out of their contract, or if they say, "Hey, we need to talk," that's one thing. But my thing is, look at things like the Nightmare Collective. This is, of course, before the pandemic hit, and everyone had a hard time getting anywhere for work. They didn't just release everybody. Or the Dark Order, when they had some mistakes there, they didn't just release the Dark Order. They just retooled it and made it work. Of course, now it's one of the greatest things AEW has. Period. But it's like just releasing them right away because a few weeks doesn't work, just detrimental to the company. It's why WWE has such a bad rep now. And yeah, AEW is new, so they have time to rebrand and fix it. Yeah, they don't want to build a reputation right away. Oh, it didn't work. You're fired.
Yeah, you got to do some pretty outlandish stuff to probably get fired by AEW at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, short of some sort of arrest for something very serious or accusations, and even then, I feel like they would probably wait for a full investigation type thing.
I remember someone bringing up Jimmy Havoc in the Me Too movement. I was like, but the truth of Jimmy Havoc is he left. He retired because that was they sent him to rehab at first, but then he retired from pro wrestling. So that's and honestly, that's pretty serious. So if you release a wrestler over that, that's kind of understandable. So.
It's funny you mentioned that because my 1 minute warning is kind of somewhat tying into that and how a lot of these situations are better off. On the Twitter sphere, because people like to comment and stuff, someone had to basically come out and say that Adam Cole left a great situation to go to a worse one. Now he's like not even the face of a company or something. And my thought is, okay, I can see he was the face of NXT. I can see that as a collective group, the Undisputed Era ran NXT. But there's a reason he didn't want to go to the main roster. And if you need proof of that, look at what they did with Keith Lee. Look at what they did with Karrion Kross. And to say that he's in a worse situation, no. He's still making money. He gets to wrestle, do what he loves. He's with his best friends in this business. He gets to keep his Twitch channel. He's on the same company his fiance is in. Oh, yeah, he gets health benefits. When you look at the comments Keith Lee has made where we had to cover a lot of his medical expenses, now obviously WWE is disputing that. I don't know the whole story, but it wouldn't put it past him that WWE is not covering every sort of medical benefit out there. They famously have covered rehab costs for wrestlers in the past, putting them through the rehab to get them help. But when are you taking care of the talents that you have right now? Another prime example of that is Xavier Woods. We're not going to see a lot of content of up, down, down because a lot of the content creators of that channel have found out while WWE has kind of taken it over, they're not giving any of the throwback on that money to Xavier Woods, and he built that from the ground up. So
half of them are fired. So
yeah,
there is that too.
The situation Adam Cole is in now is much better than what he was before. And I could harken. When I think back on it, there's a scene when he was streaming live on Twitch, and he got the message on his phone that Tyler Breeze had been released.
Yeah,
that says to me that is probably the moment he realized when my contract is up, I'm gone. I can't do this. I need to be with my friends. Yeah.
And the other argument to that is, I think Kyle O'Reilly's contract is up next month.
Yes.
And it's like. Well, he already has two of his best friends in AEW now. It's like, and he sees what's going on. I mean, he had to watch what was happening. So,
yeah.
All right, go ahead.
No, you said that, and then I said add Red Dragon to that tag team division. Oh.
Don't we all want to see it? Didn't we all want to see Red Dragon in NXT? We never really got it.
Okay, so can you believe there was a time I was like, Red Dragon, I'm not sold on this. Literally, like a month later, yeah, I'm into this 100%. Yeah. Let's get this tag team going. But it's such a dumb argument that okay, because being the face of the company, to me that goes in stages. Mm-hmm. Everyone has their stage, unless you're like John Cena, which I have no problem. Look, especially in hindsight. John Cena was like the perfect guy to keep the company going for 10 years. If you don't like that, you're lying to yourself. He was the perfect guy. Roman Reigns is fine now. Adam Cole was the face of NXT. That's it. Was not the face of the whole WWE, and anyone who else tells themselves anything different, you're kidding yourself. You got to be joking me. But but
that was great. I like that.
Thank you. But it's like there in no way, shape, or form is he in a worse situation now. Like you said, you covered all of it. It's like, no, I would immediately take that situation over where he just was. And because I'm more than positive, even if he's not making the same amount of money, it's still pretty comfortable. I doubt he misses the old check at all.
Also, I don't even it's not like he was released. He made the conscious effort to let his contract expire, made the decision to go.
Even extended it so he can finish the storyline and put Kyle O'Reilly over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if people remember, he's actually admitted it was a hard decision for him.
Yeah.
He actually loved his time there.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan said similar things too.
Yeah, so they didn't leave on bad terms. They didn't leave hating everybody. They didn't leave saying, "Oh, F that place." No, they said they had fun. We had a good experience, but it was time to go.
Yeah,
right.
And I think he said too that one of the biggest things was his Twitch channel, because when all this was going on, he got that set up. He was able to community positivity that he has, and he enjoys playing games, talking with people, chatting with people. And he didn't want to lose that, and we knew the way.
I saw his interview with Chris Van I can't remember the last name. But he is such a gaming nerd, and I love that about that guy. He is like who that is on that Twitch channel is 100% him, and I respect it. I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but I saw this, or they were talking about an interview with him where people ask, "Oh, is it the old Stone Cold thing where Adam Cole is who you are turned up to 11?" And he's like, "No, I'm really not like that at all. Like, it's more acting for me. Like, I play this character, I play the super cocky guy, but that's not really who I am." And I think that's kind of cool because everything I've heard too about him is the same thing. Like, he really is the nicest, most genuine guy. The guys from Cultaholic will talk about. He will raid their Twitch streams after shows or before shows. He seems like a great guy. Can y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought my video was cutting out. Okay.
No, you're good.
You're good.
All right. Tonight, everybody out there, AEW Full Gear happens tonight. The pay-per-view goes live at 7 p.m. Central Time. The buy-in pre-show starts at 6:30, so just a 30-minute pre-show. It takes place at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can find it on Bleacher Report. It's no longer Bleacher Report Live, just Bleacher Report. You can find that app on your Roku, on your phone. Some pay-per-view providers are also picking this up. And some select movie theaters. They actually do have a list of the movie theaters. If you go to the All Elite Wrestling website, allelitewrestling.com, and click on the How to Order link, you can check on the link of what movie theaters. In the San Antonio area, there are quite a bit. There's Cielo Vista. Yep. There's the Dollar Theater. I hope it's a Dollar Dinner, but I doubt it for this. There's the Palladium. There's Casablanca. Those are the ones that I've been able to pick out here. There's the Santikos and Cibolo. If you're in the Cibolo area, they're going to be showing it as well. There are a lot of theaters around the country that are going to be showing this as part of Joe Hand Promotions. Excuse me. So check that out. If you feel comfortable being in the theater, masking up, obviously make sure you follow the policies of whatever movie theater you go to. It is cool to see this part of it, that they're expanding to this, and I hope that becomes a normal thing with AEW getting into movie theaters.
I feel like it might be because I think in Japan they do that a lot with like super big shows. They play them in movie theaters for people who can't get into the actual arenas.
Should be a great show tonight. And next week, of course, we're going to recap Full Gear. We're going to talk a little bit about Impact Turning Point, which is an Impact Plus show that they have coming up on the 20th, which is next Saturday, a week from today. And then Survivor Series, which, granted, I did read an article today. Granted, it was on Bleacher Report. They're already calling it. Full Gear is going to destroy anything Survivor Series is doing right now.
Well, okay.
Yes.
Well, look. You know, that's an easy way to prove this point. You know how? Name me one storyline going into Survivor Series.
I don't know.
So there you go.
I don't know.
You can't name one.
The brands are going to wrestle each other. Charlotte versus Becky Lynch, I guess. You know. So I mean,
They still doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, okay.
It's that. It's. I'm pretty sure it's Biggie and Roman,
Mhm.
and then there's Survivor Series teams with like people who
The
just got
most
to their
random-
brands like
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Most random groups of people I could ever see.
Yeah, everyone say hi to Adi there. All right, well,
Oh my God! Who's in the impact zone?
thank you everyone for joining us on this Saturday noon edition of the Countdown City WrestleCast. This was kind of nice, you know.
It's fun.
Again, we'll see you next week. A lot to talk about. Enjoy AEW Full Gear. Over here we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each
making
other.
faces at his goddaughter. And I'm JC.
Yes, I am.
And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real. People
People are
fake.
fake.
Enjoy Full Gear. We'll talk to you guys in a few days. Take care.
Join the Dark Order.